That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You hear that music and you know one thing. It's time for Floating Head Questions. That's not exactly what we call the show. It's more like more questions for a floating head. I'm your floating head for the evening. My name is Henry. I am here to serve you and all of your floating head question asking needs. It's a service of the Bob Doyle Show, and we're happy to have you here. If you're new, if you're old, if you're gray, or if you're gold, we'd love you to say hello to us so we can acknowledge you, your presence, and your contribution. It's going to look something like this. We got Kathy. She's saying hello. And Jane is saying hello as well. To me, Henry, the floating head. Now, here's what I want you to know about these two. They've been here, done that with the floating head thing. So I think they probably got a good many of their questions answered. So we're hoping and praying. Now, I can't fold my hands together in a prayer position because, as is hopefully very obvious, I'm not currently sporting hands. You know what I mean? So it looks like we might have a question, so I think we should go check it out. The question is this: how do you eat? Does somebody feed you every day? Well, all right, that's a fair question, and I'm going to give you a fair answer. Not a great answer, but a fair one, okay? So I eat out of a bowl. It's just easier, and yes, of course, someone most of the time feeds me. Now, there are instances where I will roll my way over to the bowl and it's sort of a self-feeding situation. It's specifically for us floating heads, or other heads, I guess, the ones who choose not to float for their reasons, whatever, right? I mean, of course I'm going to float. It's dirty down there on the ground. Dogs, and they poop. I'm not even kidding. I've seen it. I've seen it from an angle you don't want to. Okay, so point is, I do have the ability to feed myself, but it takes a lot of prep ahead of time, obviously. Now, once I got Alexa, things were a lot easier. Got a lot of smart appliances. You know, I can tell it what to do, and it cooks me everything, and sometimes puts it in a bowl. I shouldn't say everything because it doesn't actually cook everything, which is the problem. So, all right. So we've got still Jane and Kathy. Now, we know this is a very different time for anything Bob Doyle Show related to be broadcast. Now, again, my name is Henry. I'm your floating head, and I'm here to answer your questions for a floating head. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be about floating heads or being one. No, it's any question you have that you just would like to direct to a floating head for whatever your reasons are. We try not to pry. We want to. Oh man, do we want to. We want to pry. We want to get so deep into your business, it would make you lose sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? We wish we knew more, but we don't. We don't. People think because we're floating heads or whatever that I don't know what they think. Like, that we have the ability to read your minds or something? I don't know. Or that we can sneak into your house at night? No, we're just a head, and, we're floating. Right? Whoop. Sorry, floated a little in the wrong direction. That happens sometimes. Hey, I think I see a question about how I brush my teeth. Now, I'm almost positive that was addressed on another show by another person, but it could have been about hair. But the answer is the same. I have help. That's right. Helpers who come in and brush my teeth. Now, that may lead to so many other questions, like, where does the toothpaste go? Do you swallow it? How does that all work anyway? These are all great questions. You can read those answers in my book, All the Questions You Have for a Floating Head, but haven't gotten the opportunity to ask yet because you're not making yourself available on Friday nights. Now, I know that is a really long title. It's laborious to say and harder to remember, and I probably won't be able to repeat it, at least not tonight. So don't ask me to. We have a question about how high can I float. That's a good question. I can float up to 9 feet. Up to 9 feet. Now, I can't sustain that. No, that takes a whole. You gotta want that. You gotta. I mean, because the work you gotta do to get to 9 feet and sustain it. I mean, it's look. There's those guys, right? There's always those guys and gals. Not, who've just got to go for the 9. And there's rumors of a 9.5 foot. There's rumors of a 10. But nothing proven. 9 is pretty much the max. And, we just accept it. But I can get to 9. I can hold it for a second. And when I was younger, I could hold it for maybe, 3 seconds. But, I just don't, I'm not sustaining that. I'm not keeping that going. It's just like I don't need to, right? I've matured. I'm not trying to pick up, I don't need to go there. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the teeth brushing thing, yes, I have help. They come in, they brush my teeth. I do have, just like I have, look, I have a solo version of just about everything. I mean, in an emergency situation, I can get by, but it's not, but I don't, it's because it's not an emergency situation. So, I have help and I have the means, for the help. I got, I'm pretty busy on the speaking circuit. All of us are, all of us floating heads. We go to schools, we go to Rotary clubs, Toastmasters, that kind of stuff is something we do. But we have also spoken at very large auditoriums. We got a question about how much fan mail we get. It's a moderate amount, honestly, to be honest with you, because I think that we're just not people. We just don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't know about us yet. There's not enough people, talking us up and saying, hey, there's these floating heads over on the Bob Doyle Show that you can ask questions. There's just not, I bet, as much as I love all of you watching, I'll bet you're not doing that. And look, I get it. It's a weird thing to say, for you headed folks. I understand. I mean, I honestly don't know if I would do it. But it doesn't, I'm just saying it's not getting done. And so there's very little fan mail. But I do get some. I got one yesterday. It's actually weird that you asked that because I got a fan mail letter, and it was about a paragraph and a half. And it was just, talking about how much, as far as, all the talking heads they've seen, they like me the best, like by a mile. I don't like to talk about that, but I just did. Because you brought it up. You asked me about my fan mail, so I'm just relating what I get. I'm not trying to show off just because I'm everybody's favorite. Oh, wait, do I have a girlfriend? Oh, now, okay, it's a little personal, I got to say. I mean, I didn't say you couldn't ask those questions, but it was a little embarrassing. I am okay. So there's someone I'm talking to. I think that's the word, right? There's someone I'm talking to. She's ahead, and she is actually one of those 9-footers. She will sustain 9 feet for like 8 or 9 seconds. Right? Like she's not trying to set any records, right? She just can do it. But that's not why I'm interested. She's funny, and she's just look. You're asking some super personal questions here, but yeah, I mean we've been kind of seeing each other, and I think it's pretty much exclusive. I mean we haven't talked about it, but just based on you know how you just kind of know. I mean I really hope I'm right on that though, because that would be freaking embarrassing, and especially if maybe she's watching. I don't know. Are there floating arms or floating legs? Is that a for real question? I mean, come on. You got to have a brain to do any of this stuff. And I'm like all brain. I'm like 65% brain. You know what I'm saying? Whereas arms, legs, Zero brain. So no, not that I, no, well, look, I don't want to say I know every freaking thing in the world. Maybe somewhere there is, but no, I don't think so. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, says Jane. It's just a fun little life lesson from Jane. Thanks, Jane. Let's see what else is going on here. But not asking personal stuff about relationships. What? All right. Where was I? I was floating. I remember that. 9 feet. Did I have a girlfriend? But it seemed like there was something else. There could have been. It doesn't matter. Now, here's a question you might have. And it's not necessarily about being a floating head. Remember, you don't have to ask questions like that. You can ask whatever. Okay? I get it? The question is, hey, is that a gift floating behind you? Like right over there, back in the back? It is a gift. It is a gift. Because do you know what? Today's my birthday. It's embarrassing. You know what? I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to say anything, but then I noticed the present and I thought, well, you may as well just, because they're going to ask. They're probably going to assume it's your birthday anyway. So, I'm sorry. Jane, look, I get off track sometimes, and so I can't always follow all the conversations. And when I'm trying to figure it out with comments, it's just, well, you see what's happening. But you'll notice I haven't opened the gift yet. And yes, it's from her. So now the other thing is, you might say, "Oh well, thank you, Jane, wishing me a happy birthday." She's the only one who did, but okay, whatever. So you might have the whole, well, how do you open the present, Henry? How would you guess? I'm actually keen to know your guesses on this one. How do you think? Every ache is a headache, says Russ. I get why you're saying that, but let me tell you something. When this is all you have to have you will segment the pain. Because when I have an earache, a toothache, whoa. If my nose hurts, it's on my head. Yeah. Of course, because I'm all ahead. And if you're making a joke, Russ, well, but no, I don't call everything a headache, even though you might, for a quick laugh. Okay, let's see what's going on. With your teeth, every ache is a headache with your teeth. I think Jane might be backing me up on this. And Russ, I'm sorry, I feel like I was hard on you just then, and it's just my way. That's why people love me. That's why they call me Henry, the floating head you love to hate. Now, I think some of the other floating heads say that about themselves, but I'm the original. Oh, open the presents with the teeth. Now, I knew, of course, that would be your guess, because what else would I use? And, of course, you are correct. Duh. My teeth. What, I'm going to do it with my hair somehow? My ears? Oh, come here. I'm going to put my ear I'm going to tuck it up under the bow and the fold in the paper, and I'll rip it that way. No, I use my teeth. Or I have a helper. And it just so happens that later tonight, because it's already pretty late. I don't know if you know that, but it is. That's when we'll be opening the presents. And no, that's not a euphemism. We'll literally be opening presents. What is wrong with you people? Boy, Friday night and you just get weird on us. But I volunteered for this shift. I said, you know what? I'll take the Friday night. Steve Dale and the other person, they need a weekend. They got family and stuff. And, I got this going on. But, I got time. I got time to hang out here, answer your questions. I could ask them. Actually, I do. I read them once I see them. That's kind of re-asking your question, isn't it? Type 1 for yes or 2 for no. We'll wait. And while we wait, we'll play some music. Yeah. Welcome to Waiting on Questions for a Floating Head. I'm your host, Henry. Right now, we're waiting on people. That's right, we're waiting on them to type 1 or type 2. 1 would be yes, and 2 would be no. Now, I see on the board, we've got an answer. We've got a response from our good friend Jane, who has 1 typed. That's right. Now, if you're watching this on a replay, and you're not watching it live, you can still type. Well, I got to clear my whatever. See, that's a missed opportunity for a question. How do you clear and what is that you're clearing anyway if you don't have one? That would have been a good question, but unfortunately, I've asked it for you already. We're still playing the waiting music because 1 response doesn't count. We're going to need another 1 for yes or 2 for no before we're going to stop this music. And believe me, we got plenty of time with it. Oh, and the licensing to use it. Thanks, Facebook. Let's see if anybody is... nope, we're still waiting. So I'll just keep... let's see what we got here. You're so free with a body, my spine holds me back. Hey, I'm not going to lie to you, Russ. It's a very freeing way to be. A floating head, I recommend it if you've got the opportunity to do it. There's a question. Hey, Bob. Henry. People mistake us all the time. He used to have his hair like this back when he was in The Secret. So we would get mistaken for each other literally all the time. You can't become a floating head. You just got to be born one. Sorry. The alternative is not pretty. We've had people try. Back in the old days, man, there was a lot of that going on. But generally speaking, the head would just fall into a basket and not float at all. So, we don't have... No, we're just born this way. But I still see that we don't have anybody but Jane who has answered 1 or 2. So we're still waiting. Maybe just like the music. And you don't want it to stop because it's got that kind of groove. A lot that groove. What do you think the present is? Do you think I have a guess? Do you think I have a guess? Is it a vest? No. What would I do with a vest? Is it a dress? No. What would I do with a dress? Hey, there's a present. What's inside? There's a present. Take that ride. Okay, we still don't have anybody giving us a number, even though Jane is begging, basically, for you to do it. How hard is it to type 1 or 2? How hard? If it's really hard, type 1. If it's not hard at all, type 2. In the meantime, we're going to have to play some more music while we wait. Look at this. A chess set, Jane says. A chess set. I don't know why she's saying it, but it's fun to think about. Oh, what's in the back? No. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's in there. It could be a chess set because, Jane, in your infinite brilliance, you have probably surmised that chess is a game I can absolutely play. As a floating head, it's one of the best. Checkers is more challenging because of the flatness of the checker. And then when you get a king, it's just basically a choking hazard because you got one stacked on top of the other. I don't have to tell you that, do I? I don't have to, but I did. That's just a service of more questions for a floating head. We're still waiting for somebody to freaking type a number 1 or a number 2. So now what I think is happening is it's a conspiracy. There's a group of you chatting with one another, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, I don't know. Let's make Henry work for it. Let's just see how long he'll go and keep playing the music. Well, let me tell you something. I got a lot of patience. It's a Friday night and I don't meet up with my honey bunny for a little while. And look, don't tell her I said the honey bunny thing. I mean, I haven't tried that on her and I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't. It's like our third official date or whatever. All right. Anyway, well, I'm going to keep playing music until somebody types a 1 for yes or 2 for no to the question that was asked so long ago that I'm quite sure no one remembers what the question was. I forgot about it. I'm talking like I don't even know how long. So, but I just want somebody to do this so that I know that I have command over you. I mean, so that I know that you're engaged with what we're talking about. There we go. No, Jane, you don't count. You already did it. Did you see what's happening? Jane's having to do everybody's work. Now, and it's not going to work because I'm not accepting it. So there. So we're just going to keep listening to the music, but not this one because I'm not a fan of it. There we go. All right. So this is what we're listening to. Well, maybe we'll just turn this. You know what? Forget it. I don't remember what the question was, Russ. I already just said. I forgot. But you know what? I think, hold on a second. I think we're just going to turn this into some sort of a lounge music show. You're listening to something I don't know the name of because it's from a music library by an artist whose name I do not know. We hope you're enjoying the smooth sounds of whatever this is by the fireplace that we've created through digital technology. You're watching More Questions for a Floating Head. I'm Henry, here to answer your questions if you've got them. Otherwise, we're just going to keep listening to music. We're going to turn this into a music show. The weirdest, most unbelievably, I don't even know what kind of music show. Now, how do you change the music if you're only a floating head? Do we have any other questions? Let's see. No, wait a minute. I think we just got Russ to say one. You see? And was I true to my word? Oh, yes, I was. I turned that off. Just like I said I would. So now you have to do something for me. And it's not going to be answering anything 1 or 2 because that was like pulling freaking teeth, and I'm not going to do that to myself again. Has everybody shared this with a watch party? You are talking to a floating head, for crying out loud. You going to keep this all to yourself? I mean, I think I've proven my tenacity. I'm here. I'm addressing. So Jane was enjoying the music, as was I, Jane. Who else was enjoying the music? Who else secretly wants to hear it again? There you go. Maybe we can do both. We can work together. You can ask some questions. I can answer them. We can listen to music and we can be all smooth together. What do you say? I'm Henry. You're watching More Questions for a Floating Head, a special feature of The Bob Doyle Show, where we just do this because we want to. And we're contractually obligated with the Floating Head Society of America, the FSHOA. Yes, that's it. I'm a member, a proud, long-standing member of the FHOA, the Floating Heads of America. Now, yes, there are European chapters, right? And they're great. They're great. In fact, the food at those things is way better than anything we have at the FHOA meetings in these United States of America. All right, let's go to your questions. You should have your own radio show. You got the voice for it. Thank you, Jane. That is kind of what we're doing here. We're just changing it up, and we're just going to call this a jazzy lounge music show. But my music selection's all the way over here, so I have to turn away from you, which I don't like doing as a professional broadcaster. But we're going to change the music now. Let's just get into it a little bit. Now, if you're at home and you're listening, welcome. You're watching More Questions for a Floating Head, and you've been invited here by the people who have been watching it secretly and privately and not sharing it because they're stingy. But then the guilt just got the best of them, and they shared it with you and thousands of others probably. And that's why you're here. So welcome. What do we do here? Well, we sometimes ask questions to a floating head. But sometimes we don't, which leaves the floating head here just to float. So we decided to play some music, and that's what we're doing now. Enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can. You're the woman, and I'm the man, unless you're a man too, but I'm still a man. Well, I'm the head of a man, and I can catch as catch can. Yeah, get down and get back up again. Get down and get back up again. Get down and get back up again. I get down and get back up again. I get down and get back up again. Get funky, I get funky. I am a member of the Grounded Bodies of Canada. Of Canada. I am a member of the Grounded Bodies of Canada. Of Canada. Get down and get back up again. Get down and get back up again. I get funky. I get funky. Get down and get back up again. Get down and get back up again. Get funky. Get funky. You should have your own radio show. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up, I think, for this edition of More Questions for a Floating Head. We did get some questions answered up front, so if you joined us late and you didn't hear not even one question asked and answered, well, I can't. It's not like I wasn't here. Okay, I totally was. But there were a couple of questions up front, so you can go back and watch the replay as soon as that's available, which should be just literally moments from now. I guess I should play music out because I played music in, and it's fun. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching More Questions for a Floating Head. I have been and always will be Henry. We've had fun together tonight, answering a couple of questions and listening to some music, doing a little dancing and grooving out to some tunes. Tell all your friends, your family, your neighbors, your loved ones, your enemies, your bosses, your co-workers, your college roommates, your, local Girl Scout chapter, Boy Scout chapter, any of the scouts, whatever. Just spread the word that we're answering questions for a floating head on Friday nights. I'm not committing to that, by the way. It just so happens that I'm doing it now. But there's no guarantee that next Friday I'll be doing it. But I can guarantee you this. This has been an absolute blast. You all have a wonderful, wonderful non-floating head evening. Goodbye now.